Gold jacket, green jacket, who gives you?
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Gold Jacket, Green Jacket podcast. We are here for episode number 21. Joel Mitchell.
I'm glad you're keeping track.
I am keeping track. My name is Christian Dragonetti. I'm joined by my co-host, Joel Mitchell. And today, Joel, we are joined by our second guest. We have in the studio, Charliecap.golf. Hey, how you doing?
Hello. Thanks so much for having me.
It's a pleasure. It's our
Happy to
pleasure.
be here.
Yeah.
It's our pleasure. Thanks for coming in. I don't think there's anywhere else to start but with our most recent rounds, Joel.
Yeah, well, we get that all along the way every episode, really.
So you guys were out at Rosanna today.
We did. I brought Charlie out as a guest. I figured it was just a good way to, I guess, break the ice. So we have something, we're a bit more comfortable in here. So we all sort of can feel like we can talk more, I guess, and engage, I guess. And yeah, had a bit of fun. It wasn't too bad of weather, I guess, but
No, it was pretty
you know,
nice.
It was pretty
today.
nice. I was pissing
than
and
last
moaning all
week.
day. It was better than last week.
And how'd you hit him?
I hit him all right, considering how I'm feeling. I'm going to whinge about it again. But
Yeah,
I have
we've
a
all...
bit of man
He was
flu, I guess.
whinging all day.
We're all-
yeah,
Got the man flu.
Here we go. Man flu. Yeah, I was pissing and moaning in the car, but I hit him good. And Charlie started very well. And
good start,
I'm not kidding. I'm not just
Blowing
me
smoke.
I'm not just blowing smoke. You impressed me.
Really?
You did.
I
You
don't
did.
think I had a good round at all, like compared to what I can do, but thank you.
What is
I
your best
had,
score?
95.
95 is
at
best.
Ivanhoe.
At Ivanhoe. Beautiful. It's perfect.
Such a good track.
Yeah, Ivanhoe's good.
And what'd you have today?
Oh, what was it? 170.
It was. It was. That was in fairness, that was with three very high numbers, and that was due to battling bunkers, I guess.
Yeah, just
That was
blowout
about it.
holes. Like I had 2 10s and 1 11, I think.
Oh, shit.
Which I've never had to write an 11 on the scorecard.
Other than that, the rest of it was fine. The highest score from them was a 7.
There you go.
That's
That's all right. Look, it's all part of it,
It was
at the
fine.
end of the day. And we'll get a big part of today's getting you in to have a chat about your journey and because it's a bit of an interesting one and where you've started and how recently you started as well, and then where you're sort of taking your Instagram profile as well and documenting your progress through the game. And we'll get to that in a little while. So you guys played today, and Joel, a little bit more about you. I'm going to pump your tires up. If you had a look sort of Sunday night last week, ladies and gents, you may have seen this big head put up some numbers.
so.
And the term scuba diving
Yeah.
is pretty
So
legit.
for anyone that doesn't know the term scuba diving, it literally just means you go deep. And when you go deep, you've gone a lot under par, essentially. So what would you say is deep?
6.
6 or more?
6 or more.
So I'd say 4 or more. So you're 5 deep or five more. 5 under or more is deep, I find.
I reckon 4 would be awesome.
Yeah.
6 or more is
Is deep. That's
deep.
yeah.
Goggles on,
Yeah. Well,
oxygen tank.
I had I even had some weights on my feet. That's how quickly I
you
sunk.
went swimming with the fishes.
I went Don't bring that up again. Last week he's giving me shit about fish or fishes. Anyway,
So you had what?
I had 9 under, so I had 62
At Rosanna.
at Rosanna, and
Holy moly.
I couldn't have.
And he heard it from everyone today.
Oh my
I'm sure he
Everyone
did.
that we walked
I'm
past.
sure he
said,
did.
Oh, nice round yesterday.
You know what the thing is though, Charlie, right? This is the shit thing about knowing Joel and having him as a really good mate and how good at golf he is, right? Because of his work position at Rosanna, being a trainee and all that kind of stuff, everyone knows who he is. So you waltz around that joint. If he took you out as a guest today, so
Yeah.
obviously you would have heard about it.
You did mention
I
that.
would have killed myself today if I was with him today.
You would have.
Every
Yeah,
second
every
bloke,
single
every second
group.
bloke, good round, Joel. That's awesome, mate. 9 under. Wow, that's unreal.
Shut up! You wish you could shoot 9.
I wish I did. That's exactly the point.
That's why you're mad.
Jealousy.
It's jealousy.
No, you're right though. It was like I mentioned it actually to Charlie in the car. We're driving past, and there was like 3 people in the span of 10 seconds were like asking me about it, and like it's great. No, I love it. I love like the bit of attention and the spotlight moment, I guess. But like after a while, I'm like, can you just fucking?
I mean,
Trying to
but
get
that's
on with like concentrating on my day rather than getting asked by everyone and his dog asking about the round.
Yeah.
And like I do like when people go, oh, what'd you do during the round? Or, you know, oh, unreal score. Well, yeah, awesome, thanks. But 300 people asking about it. it's like,
300. It's a bit dramatic.
I know, exactly. That's why it's an exaggerated number. It wasn't 300.
but also he wishes it was 300.
Which was 3,000. No, I'm kidding. So yeah, that was probably. Hey, I told you the low one was coming.
Yeah, you've been saying it for the last couple of weeks.
I said it last week and the week before. I said I've shot a couple good ones. Oh, well, decent ones, and I'm feeling the real scuba one coming. So
There it is.
and I was stoked that I could pull it off.
And let's hope it's not the last. Let's hope there's plenty more coming.
No.
Because you've got some events coming up later in the year, and hope the form can stick around.
It'd be awesome if we could throw a 9 in there somewhere with them.
That's it. Just before we move on, so my most recent round was Saturday. We had the second round or the quarterfinals of that 4-ball event that I played in last week, and myself and Mitch went. We lost 2 and 1
Okay.
on 17, which was
Did you play as
unfortunate.
good as last week?
I probably played around
Similar.
the same sort of
Similar.
mark. I don't think Mitch will say he did. I didn't think he played that poorly.
You didn't ham and egg as well.
No, not really. Although Mitch, I mean, Jesus, he chipped in for he chipped in to save par on 9, drained a snake on 11 to save par.
Yeah.
We ham and egged a little bit.
Yeah.
But the guys we played against were just playing off like 12 and 25.
Yeah.
and
So they ham and egg well.
one of the blokes we played with, his GA was 32, but obviously the way the system worked
Limit.
on the day.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So I was the lowest ranked handicap player. I was playing off 7.
Yeah.
So I play off scratch for the day.
You go to 0.
And then everyone else lost 7.
Yep.
Right? So he played off 25 for the day.
It's a weird.
It's very
format.
confusing.
It's a weird
I've
format.
never heard of
yeah.
that.
Yeah, very confusing. Well, yeah. I don't even want to try and
We're
explain it.
not even going anywhere near that.
But we're playing on 14, and old mate who's playing off 25 hits driver 3-wood to 30 metres out from the green. He's there for 1, technically.
Yeah. True.
So he's 30 metres out on a par 5 for 1 shot.
Yeah. Because he's got
And
2 shots, doesn't he?
Yeah, correct. He had 2 shots on the hole, and I'm scrambling from like the shit, trying to make up and down for bogey, knowing that we've lost the hole already.
Yeah. He could make 7 and you lose, and you have to make eagle to win.
Correct. Yeah. And that was the thing. Like, I have to make birdies to get close, and it's just like, fuck, it's too hard.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was fun.
Today we set targets for
Oh,
ourselves.
we did.
So you played with a member of Rosanna last week as well, and you wanted to make your prediction. Like, what would you shoot? And you posted about it.
Yeah.
So what was your prediction last week that you
I
wanted to
think
shoot?
my prediction was 98.
Okay.
I wanted to break 100.
Yeah.
Ended up on 116.
Yeah. Was
So
it the
then
same thing last week where you had a couple high numbers?
a few high numbers. I think just because I was playing the course for the first time, it was just a few blowout holes. But yeah, this week wanted to obviously break that, but then I had a goal of even lower, which I think we put down 105.
Yeah.
And yeah, that clearly didn't happen. Then we were even scrambling to make the 116. It was the last hole, and I had 1 putt to make par, which would have put me at 116.
No,
Similar? Or
115 would have beaten last week.
And you
Yeah.
3-jabbed it.
Unfortunately.
And then I think I 3-putted it to do 1 over.
That's
It was
last
easy
week.
to do.
So-
It was easy to do. The greens are running all right at the moment, and it's tough. It's sometimes hard. They can get away from you a bit, but no.
It was tricky, but
After you start though, like
I did par the first hole, which I haven't had a par in like a few rounds. So that was a very good start.
Well, that was good. You hit the fairway, like smoked this 7-wood up the middle, like down the hill. You had what'd you have, like 120 odd, 120, and you would have hit 7-iron or something like that.
Yeah.
Hit
And then it
7-iron
was
to center
on
green.
the
It was the
green, yeah.
easiest 2-putt I've ever seen. So
there you go.
it was just, I'm like, oh god, I'm in trouble here.
And I suppose what is so impressive about all right, it's a 117. That's whatever. But what is impressive about that is how recently you've started.
Yeah.
Because you took the sport up 18 months ago.
Not even, like probably just this time last year I was really getting into it.
Okay, and so
about 12 months.
what made you, of all sports, pick golf? Like, you mentioned before off camera that you play with your dad a little bit. Like, did he get you into it? Was it something you wanted to join in with him doing? Like, what was it about this sport in particular that got you hooked
Yeah.
and chose or made you go down this path?
So I actually kind of just fell into it. I was not planning to do it like at all, but I got a job at Golf, which is like golf simulator venue. I more joined it because it was like hospitality, food and drink, and I thought it was just mini golf. And then when I arrived for the first day of training, it was the simulators, and I was like, oh, I actually don't know anything about golf. Like, what am I doing here? But I was kind of like, oh, all right, I'll stick with it. So obviously worked there for a few months. You are allowed to play for free. So I always just kind of played around on it and then started slowly getting a bit better, just making that contact. And I was like, oh, I actually kind of like this. And yeah, as you said, like I feel like golf is not a sport that I would ever have thought I would take the interest in. Like it never even occurred to me to start it. But yeah, it was just from working there, and then slowly just thought, oh, I'll buy my own clubs and then I'll go out to the course. And then once I did start playing, I started really enjoying it. And I was like, oh, this is really fun.
So it was a full-on caught the bug moment when you started working
So
at
the reason
X-Golf.
why you didn't get into it, was it because it wasn't promoted to you? Or
I think
or
so.
did you show no interest at all?
I think that it just wasn't even a question. Like it's
Wasn't
not
on the
like,
radar.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know how to compare it, but I feel like for a girl, it's just, even though my dad did play growing up, he never really like got me into it. But it was never that I was like, oh, I don't want to play golf. I don't want to play golf. It was more just, it didn't even cross my mind.
Yeah, it wasn't something that.
Did you play other sports as a kid?
I played netball growing up.
Okay, so yeah,
quite
Okay, so
different.
it was sort of like that. I'm not going to say stereotype, but you tend to see that there's sports that females get pushed into at a younger age, and there's sports that males do. So you'll see, there's sports now like basketball and footy. That's very unisex now. Everyone's doing that. That's the equality's really found those two sports. But for example, golf at a younger age, like I ran junior clinics for ages. I'd get one, maybe two younger girls per term. The other 15 were all 8-year-old boys.
And can I ask you a question about that, Joel? You run those junior clinics and you might get one or two girls. How many of those are because dad's a member at the club and
Good point.
probably wanted a...
Very good
I mean,
point.
this is very shooting from the hip here.
Yeah.
Probably wanted a son. You know what I mean?
There's been
To come and play golf with.
you know what my favorite part about that was? That the girls were better.
Yeah.
That was my favorite part.
They
That-
probably listen more
They
carefully.
did. They absolutely did. Girls are way better to teach golf than little ratty 8-year-old boys that go.
Oh, trust me.
And they just start throwing clubs, and like there was a couple of them where I had to put them into timeout every session. I'll put them into 5-minute timeout. Go sit over there. Stop hitting your brother. Blah blah blah. Stop throwing balls. Stop chucking a tantrum. Like you need to behave yourself. And sometimes I'll look at the parent going, "Yo, your fucking kid's doing a backflip." Right, and there's a 9-year-old girl asking me about grip, asking me why does it go over there and not there. Like I found you a lot
Wow,
more. They were a
interesting.
lot more curious. Essentially,
Yeah.
they wanted to be better rather than these little clowns trying to run
coached-
around, have a bit of fun.
I coached junior soccer for 5 or 6 years and
Same thing.
the boys suck. And then there'd be the odd session where I have to like fill in for like the under 5 girls or whatever, just because their coach was sick or whatever.
Yeah.
And they would be like
They were a
so
dream.
switched on.
They were a
Angels.
dream.
Yeah, little angels. And
It
then I go
was
back
so
to my
good.
little pigs and just,
little rats.
Yeah, and just like, what why can't you
So-
be more like the girls and just pay attention?
Yeah.
Well, at that younger age, I find it's like if they do have that mindset, but like you said, it's exactly right. Like every little girl that I had in the clinic, their dad was a member.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's because it's like it didn't seem forced. One of them didn't want to be there. I know
I
for
don't
that.
think it's forced, but I just think if they didn't have their dad playing in the club or whatever, they probably just wouldn't be interested. And like I always say to my dad, obviously now I'm like, why didn't you get it to me earlier? I would be so much better. I would be actually
We've all
good at
been there.
golf. Yeah. And he says, well, you just wouldn't have been interested. And, you know, it's probably true. Like at that age, I was quite girly. I don't think I would have started it. But
Why
I
is
think...
that? Is that because of peer
I
pressure?
just-
Like your mates going, oh, you play golf.
But
Well,
then,
as a
Would you reckon
kid,
that?
no, I don't think so. But I just don't think I would even have the patience for it, I guess.
Like, do you reckon during high school, in particular high school, like everyone goes through changes, essentially. We'll go with that. So growing up, that there's a lot of times you have that stereotype, like you want to stand out from your friends and stand out from groups that you're involved with. And a lot of the times, particularly I found in my school, that I was a little bit of the odd one out because I'll be like, okay, that's Joel. Oh, he's the golfer. Or something
Yeah.
like that, both in a good and bad light.
golf has that stigma. I
Both
played
in it.
tennis and I was in the same sort of
Yeah,
boat.
so sometimes I'll be playing cricket or footy or something like that going, how are you good at this sport? You're a golfer. Like, how are you decent at anything else? And like, I hated that. So do you think that was like a bit of a barrier as to why you didn't get into it earlier? Because people would look at you going, oh, maybe a bit
It's
odd
just
because you're interested in such a unique game at a younger age.
Yeah, it could have been. I mean, like me and my friends sometimes went to the driving range when we were probably like 17, 18. And I was horrible, like could barely hit the ball. But I just still then didn't really have that interest. And I think, yeah, as I've said, it's just not presented to you. It's not something you would even think about. But obviously the way I did get into it was because I was working almost every day. I was always around it, started to really learn about it. So yeah, I don't know. And I think another thing is like in Australia, it's as you said, even when you were in high school, you were kind of the odd one out. And I've had like boys comment on my Instagram things saying about like it's men's dominated. And they always say, no, it's not. And I always click on their profile and they're always from America, which I think in America, it's a bit more equal. I think girls play or women play like college golf and everything. But I think in Australia, it's like obviously a bit more, it's definitely male dominated.
Oh,
like
100% is. And it's a male dominated industry, sorry. And I've noticed, and it's probably another thing. Like you make a good point that it's not promoted or presented to you. And I've found in the program that Drag, your mum is involved in, the 4T program, a lot more clubs I've seen are doing that, and that's been promoted to the women, and the attraction is unreal. Like there's a limit of 8 to 10 per session, and every class is full because it's been promoted in the right way, and they're like, oh, that seems interesting. So I don't think it's like
definitely changing.
I don't think the actual sport itself is rebelling. I think it's the way it's presented and promoted is rebelling.
And I think sort of since COVID, there's been a massive boom in the sport. And a lot of people, particularly between sort of your ages and mine, have started to pick up the sport between that sort of early 20s to late 20s sort of. All of a sudden, everyone's playing golf. One, because it was the only sport we could play for so long. And two, because it's a sport that you can honestly play from the age of 3 to the age of 93, like even older, right? And so it's a lot more appealing to that. But again, in this country in particular, there aren't as many avenues for it and isn't as much promotion for it at a young age. We're starting to see it now. Golf Australia is starting to run their clinics and their programs for junior girls to get involved in the sport. And it's great. Even more.
Yeah.
But I played golf as a junior. I was 8 years old getting lessons in groups and all that kind of stuff. My dad sort of pushed me in that direction kind of because I wanted to do it. And I was, as you mentioned before, that patience. I didn't have it as an 8-year-old. It was boring. I was playing footy on a Sunday, go and hit balls on a Saturday at the range, and I hated that.
Yeah.
Because I was going to go and,
stand still.
Yeah. I was going to go stand still and hit a ball out in the field, whereas the next day I'm going to try and kick goals.
You're going to go run around and
run around with my mates.
Yeah, well,
at that age, it wasn't that appealing to me, but now I see like the biggest side of it, and that is that, yes, all right, it's a social aspect as well, which is a good thing for me to get out and play with my mates. But I suppose for you, Charlie, like it would have been a different sort of thing for you altogether, having worked at X Golf, and like you said, you were immersed in it. You call it the bug. So, yeah, you mentioned before you haven't joined anywhere as a member. Is there a reason for that?
The main reason that I haven't actually joined somewhere is because I think I'm going to be moving and kind of traveling in the next few years.
Okay.
So that kind of stops me. Like I have thought about doing like a 6-month membership or something, because I know a lot of clubs do like a women's deal, 6 months or whatever, but I just know that I do have a lot of travel planned. So that's kind of why I'm like holding back.
Okay.
But I think even after playing at Rosanna last week, I was like, I definitely could see myself getting a membership, because I know if I had like a home course and was practicing more every week, I think that would definitely help with my improvement.
Helps a lot with comfort as well.
Absolutely.
Because you'll be familiar with the place.
Yeah.
And
you
I
get to
actually
know it,
recommended today, if you want somewhere that's a bit more casual, and she wanted to practice putting. And I'm like, Heidelberg's probably that better place. They have consistently and known for reputation wise better greens essentially. So, and they are faster, so that will help a bit more. Because I don't want to put you down too much, but the weakness today was putting.
Yeah, 100%.
It was like if there was a putt per green essentially taken off, you would have been absolutely flying.
Yeah,
you'd have been sweet. Like your ball striking is unreal. Hitting 7 woods 140.
Yeah,
do that.
Sick. Okay,
like consistently.
Yeah,
and it's like, well, okay. And then hitting pitch and wedge from 85.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so
okay.
ball
So
strike,
it's there.
ball
there.
striking, yeah. And like I said, you've actually put your mind into it for 12 months. Like people play for 6-7 years and don't go anywhere near a golf club membership wise anyway. So something like that doesn't have to happen now. It will help, especially because you've got the bug and you're wanting to improve and eventually be better than him. And so
it's not hard. It's not hard.
Shut up.
Okay, yeah, that's perfect. And so, no home course, that's fine. You're playing sort of how many times a week?
Probably once a week or once every 2 weeks.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
practicing?
Well, I just finished working at X Golf, but before, when I was working there, I would play obviously like pretty much every shift I'd go early or stay back and just hit some balls. So that's practice. But as we know, my putting is quite weak. So I don't really ever go just to do putting practice.
Even though your putt is
I
sick.
should be.
I've been a member at Heidelberg Golf Club for nearly 6 years. I reckon I've practiced putting, like only gone to practice putting once.
Yeah.
Legit.
Really?
Dead set.
I was
I will always try and tie in my putting practice with something else. So like last Thursday, for example, myself and Michael, Short Game Mike, who was a previous guest on this podcast, went to Berg, hit a bucket of balls, chipped and putted, and then had a bit of a chipping comp for half an hour.
Throw a
but
game in
like
there.
I reckon dead set, I threw 3 balls down, hit 15 putts, and that was it.
Yeah.
That was more just so that I didn't rock up on the Saturday and go with putter in my hand, go, this feels like a baseball bat.
Yeah,
Like,
what's this?
what is this? You know what I mean? So there's different definitions of what you could call practice.
Yeah.
Joel's heard my definition just then and gone, "Ugh, like that's gross.
I actually didn't even mean that.
Yeah, I
my
know.
face has subtitles. Sorry. Like I actually did mention to you today that you'll never see me at the range hitting drivers 3 woods. You'll never see it. If I'm hitting hard hooks, I'll hit 30 balls, just massage it out of the swing with irons or something like that. Other than that, I'm chipping and putting. Like putting would be 80 to almost 85% of the ball contact I have during a practice session. That and like a short wedge or something like that. So, and another
That's definitely
thing,
what I need to do.
being a member at a golf club helps that heaps. And not being a member means you have to pay a fee essentially to go and practice. So that could be generally a barrier for
Yeah, or even what I was saying today is like when I play at different courses, every week it's a different course. The green's are always different. So I kind
different
of can't
conditions.
get used to something as my home course.
And it's not so much about getting used to a place. It's just understanding how on a good day they're going to react and how on a bad day they're going to react.
100%.
It's not so much about, I played at Growling Frog today and the greens were slow, and then tomorrow I'm playing at Mandalay and they're quick, and then next week I'm going to play at Moona Links and I don't know how they're going to be.
Yeah,
Right?
100%.
So it's more about like, okay, this is, like, I know this putt breaks left to right, and I know that if I hit it hard, it'll break less. If I break whatever, right? And this is by no means like a shove in the direction of join a club like we think you're making a mistake. It's not. Like you can go about it any which way you like, and that's the beauty of this sport. It's just that for us, trying to give you some advice about like what you could gain possibly out of it. And I'm sure you've done your research and figured it out yourself and you understand it, and that's fine. And your time will come. Like, trust me, it'll come. You mentioned before you play with your boyfriend. Does he get out much, or is it just sort of with you?
No, he plays quite a lot. He's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And does it sort of get competitive between the two of you when you do play together?
I wouldn't say competitive, but I think he kind of thrives off competition sometimes. So like if we're playing with another friend of ours that is also really good, I think he plays better. But if it's just the two of us, I feel like he doesn't play that good for some reason.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have that challenge.
Okay.
Which I guess for a lot of people, they play better when they're playing with people better than them.
Absolutely.
Generally, you do. Actually,
a great
Marcus, my
observation.
co-worker, actually said, he said that to you today? No, he didn't. No, he said that to other actually women members. Said that try your best to play with someone better than you.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to drag them down as much as they're going to pull you up, essentially. So that's I've noticed that heaps. Growing up all the time at Huntingdale, I played with people that hit it 30, 40 meters past me all the time. They were better players. And I'm just like, fuck. There's no point trying to beat them now. I'm just going to learn from them. So that's what you sort of got to do. And I really hope you learned something today. And I'm no Gandhi, but I hope you did pick up on
you
something.
say that a lot.
Well, that
You're really not.
exactly. I'm nowhere near. The IQ's half his, but yeah, I hope you learned something.
Yeah,
like
no,
you picked up on little cues, or like even we did that little putting tip on 6, like something as simple as that, just to work off. And your putting did get better. It did. You went from 3 putting essentially, maybe the odd 4 putt because the first one might be, you might smoke it across the green or it's left halfway. It's just that, once again, that's that consistency in practice. And it did get better because you figured out the greens, you sort of understood how they're going to roll. And yeah, you went from 3-4 putting to 2 putting and maybe the 3 in there. So it did get better. I did notice that.
Thank you.
Did
Yeah,
you?
no,
I do want to ask, did you learn anything?
From you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think definitely like the putting, when you were telling me kind of to stand more over it, try and get that eye line a bit more.
Yeah.
And even just like lining it up when I said I don't normally line it up. And what you were saying about the speed, like obviously I did kind of know a bit about that. He was saying about the speed and the break and how if it's faster or slower. But I guess, yeah, and then just seeing how you play, and like obviously I was listening to your podcast last week, I think, about kind of the mindset and everything. Even that, like, you never kind of talked bad to yourself, or
be your best
or
friend.
maybe once or twice.
Miss a green from 100. You fucking dickhead. You suck, you fucking idiot. And then move on. Like,
Yeah.
But other than
Sometimes you got to get it out.
exactly. You have to let it out. And that's what I told you today. You're like, you're trying to, there was times early in the round, especially I noticed that you were trying to sort of keep it inside, keep it internal, just so maybe you didn't want to make a fool of yourself or something. I don't know. But later in the round, we're on 14. You're like, who the fuck put that tree there? Right. And that made me laugh. I'm like, there it is. She's woken up.
And
I've accepted it. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's exactly it. And like you said, you got to let it out sometimes. You got to show some emotion, because that, honestly, it enhances your experience on the golf course, in my opinion. And I'm saying this as a cover up because I let it out a lot. And I'm not afraid. No, you would never think.
No way. You're not.
No.
You're well behaved on the golf course.
Absolutely, I am. You'd never think it. But the thing, again, so you're documenting all this through your Instagram and through your TikTok as well?
Not really, no.
So just Instagram?
Yeah.
What was the decision process behind that? Because it's one thing to take up the sport at your age, in your early 20s and stuff, and to sort of dive headfirst into it. It's another thing to then go and get someone to hold your phone while you stand over a 180 meter par 3 and try and make, see what you can shoot. So what was the thought process behind jumping onto social media and showing your journey to everyone as well?
I think at the start, I just wanted to kind of hold myself accountable and just kind of track my journey. And then once I started making a few videos, and I was also living on Hamilton Island at the time.
Oh, awesome.
And so that course is obviously beautiful. So I had a lot of photos and videos from that to post. So that's kind of why I started it. And then, I kind of just started enjoying the process of doing the edits and adding the voiceovers and the captions and everything. So then, but I did used to be very like, any shot someone was filming, it was horrible. I just thought too much of it. And if anyone was filming, I was like, this has to be good. This has to be good.
Stage fright.
But a bit of stage fright. But I have gotten better, I think, now that I have done it more and more. If someone is filming, I'm just like, it's okay. It doesn't matter. The camera's not there. But it still is hard as someone who's still learning the game and still obviously figuring things out. It's hard and it's a bit frustrating when I am filming, which is why I've been meaning to film like a 9 holes in 90 seconds for ages. But anytime that I go to do it, I get so frustrated, like moving the tripod every shot, or if I've got someone filming, like they've got to move, and it's just sometimes I just give up. So,
Would you
it's
start
not ideal.
Would you start at 3 holes? Like do 3 holes?
I could do,
3 holes in
I
30
should.
seconds, 6 holes in 60. Like, you just start small and then just work your way up, because we're trying to do a bit of filming at one stage and it fucking sucks.
Yeah.
It's so hard.
And you start playing bad and then you blame it on that and you're like, oh.
We do. We say a lot that we're like, all right, we'll do the last 6 holes of an 18-hole
Yeah.
round. So we play the first 12 holes. It's not really in our head. And then like the 2 holes leading up to it, we start chatting about it. Righto, we're going to do this, this, and this. And then we start skunking it up a little bit. And then both of us are like, no, I don't want to fucking film.
Yeah.
I don't want to film if I'm hitting it like this. Like we get frustrated.
Yeah.
And then when you're
absolutely.
on, you sort of lighten up a bit and,
And I think that's what when I first started the Instagram, I wanted to post the videos of me playing good and like hitting it well, hitting the green on par 3. But then I slowly realized I think I've just got to be more real and honest with my followers that I'm not a good golfer by any means. I'm just starting out. And obviously I want that to kind of inspire other like young girls to start playing and know that you don't have to be good straight away. So that's why I kind of do show the bad shots now.
do have a really good following early too.
Yeah.
Like a few thousand, I think.
Almost 2,000.
Jesus
There you
Christ.
go.
And that's, what, 10 months?
No, I only started like the start of this year, I think.
Jesus.
6 months.
6
following.
months.
Fuck.
That's unbelievable.
That's pretty good. That's and that goes a long way too, and especially with do you have any inspiration at all? Did you have
Like
any
other-
online, like other female YouTubers or something like that? Because there can be a couple of them. I'm not going to say they're seen in a bad light, but I feel they're
There's a
involved.
stigma.
I feel like they're involved with golf for different reasons and different reasons for attention. And I think a lot of the listeners know exactly who
and what we're talking
who
about.
and what we're
Yeah.
talking about. But there's reasons, especially we see in the female aspect, that they do get into it for a different reason of attention. And I'm sure you haven't done anything close to that. You do it because you love it. But was there anyone inspiring you to do that?
I definitely had a few like inspos, and they were more of the golfer side that they would actually post the holes that they're playing and everything. And like, I think it is what it is. Like if people do want to post things to promote other platforms or, you know, get that kind of attention, like I'm not going to judge them. I think that's fine. Obviously for me, I do want to make it more golf related and actually show me playing and everything. And it is tricky because I know that I have had certain videos that get more likes or more views or something, and I think, oh, is it because of that or is it because what I'm wearing or whatever?
Okay. Have you noticed anything like that has happened?
Not so much on my page. Like I've had a few comments, but I kind of just try and look past it because I'm like, well, obviously that's not why I'm posting.
Keyboard warrior. Keyboard warrior. They're not even there.
That's it.
You just got to look for the positive things.
And are they thoughts that go through your mind? Sort of like you just mentioned that like you might get X amount of views on one video and more on another. And you mentioned like they are genuine thoughts that go through your mind. Like, well, why? Is it because of this reason? Is it because, you know, like you said, what you're wearing or whatever it might be? Are they genuine concerns that you have with the content that you post?
I mean, like I'm not too focused on the amount of views, the amount of likes, but I guess in this context, like, yeah, obviously I don't want to be attracting the wrong crowd, the wrong audience. I want people that actually want to watch me for my golf and my journey and everything. So
I feel like you've done a pretty good job.
Yeah, I haven't had many trolls or anything, so it's been good. And at the start, especially, I did have like a lot of followers messaging me, and like it was a nice community that I was kind of starting to build. But honestly, like Instagram is so hard with the algorithm and everything. Like you post one video that you think you put a lot of effort into, you've edited it for hours and you just get nothing. And then you post another like 2-second reel that gets 10K views. And it's like, oh, how do you want to know?
Yeah. Do you have any like maybe a story or something like that, like on course, or how you've been greeted at a golf club? Because like you said, well, like we said earlier, it's male dominated. Every golf club you go to, it's probably 80-20 realistically. Maybe 90-10 in some places especially, and it's getting better. It has noticed, like Heidelberg's getting better. Rosanna, I know for sure, is getting a lot better in terms of the equality and, you know, involving women in golf. Do you have, if you want to say a story, you can. I don't know if you do have a story, I'm not sure, but do you have any instances where you're just like, I've been greeted terribly, or you've been sometimes
someone's got the wrong idea about why you're there.
Like why you're there. Like you're obviously going to be crowded around, so you could be you could honestly be the only female on the golf course surrounded by 140 men. And I know for sure there's been a couple women members at Rosanna, especially of the younger age, that have been, let's just say there's been comments thrown at them very vocally, and it didn't sit well with them at all.
Yeah,
and for good reason. Has there anything been?
I haven't had any like horrible experiences, and like to be fair, I think going into it when I did start golf, I was really, really worried. And like I feel like I'm quite a confident person. Like I don't really get nervous in like social situations or anything, but starting golf was different because, as you said, like you're sometimes the only female on the course. You're looking around, there's all these men, particularly older, and you just get a bit nervous because you're already starting something new. You're not really sure of all the etiquette and everything, and there's always the rules that you can break. I've definitely had a few like older men kind of just make comments, like not sexual or anything, but just kind of like acting as if I don't know what I'm doing, or like I think this one time I was like trying to drive the car and it was like locked, and it actually was not my fault. Like it was physically locked.
Like
and he was like, "Oh, you on your learners or something?" I'm like, it's just like not necessary when you're already
just blokes being blokes, really.
Blokes
and
being
I think
idiots.
you're kind of already feeling a bit insecure because you are that kind of odd one out, and you're new to it, so you're kind of just already in that mindset.
And I suppose these are the things that sort of, I mean, I've never considered as a bloke playing golf is just like, okay, well, my biggest thing when I started playing, especially at Heidelberg, was right, I don't want to break any rules on the course. I kind of want to keep my etiquette pretty okay. I need to learn my etiquette and sort of like show that as an example. But then also, like, I didn't have that extra, I suppose you could call it a barrier of being like, well, I don't want to sort of seem even more out of place than what I already do.
Because you're welcomed differently.
Correct.
Like I find them welcomed differently to a club. Like for example, today, if we were walking up a pathway or something like that, instantly I know some of them did it. I didn't just know. I could see their face. They look at me and they know who I am. I'm a staff member of the club, but they'll look at you going, "What you doing here? Who are you?
Yeah.
Like, who are you? Do you know what you're doing?" Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
some of them actually did look at us like that. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
fuck off. She has more right to be here than just as much right here as
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
And that's
You know what I
something I
mean?
did have to learn. I think it's a mental thing. Like, especially when I was really new and I wasn't scoring well, I would always be really conscious of like the group behind me watching or were having to wait. And if I was on the green and all the people I was playing with had like hold out and I was still putting back and forth, I would just pick it up and say, oh, don't worry. Like they can't wait, you know? And then I realized, well,
You make
actually,
exceptions
no.
for other people.
Yeah, I've
Fuck that.
paid just as much as they've paid to be here and play, so it's fine. And like, to be honest, I did always kind of put this bad negative talk and like it's just a false narrative, I guess, in my head. And then there were times where the group behind me would catch up and they would say, oh, you have a really nice swing. Like, how long have you been playing? And they've been lovely. So it is kind of what you put into your head, because I have had a lot of positive experiences with guys on the golf course. Like, they're quite encouraging and, you know, it is a very nice community for the most part. But of course there is always those few
You have to prove them wrong.
And it's a good, it's always the minority of people that ruin it for everyone, right?
Absolutely.
And, you know, the loudest voice is often solo, right?
100%.
So you might hear one bloke scream out, oi, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Piss off. What are you doing here? Piss.
And that's the
you
one
don't
that
belong
sticks in your
here,
head.
right?
That's the one
and
that
that's the one that sticks in your head. Whereas like it could honestly take you 35 other voices going, no, you're killing it.
Yeah.
Relax, take your time, enjoy yourself. But you don't hear those voices. You just think, oh, whatever, like piss off. I don't want to hear you. I want to focus on the one that is screaming at me because what am I doing wrong? I want to, you know.
You always want to improve, and that could be just a mentality. I feel like it's human nature to take the negative out of it and try and improve yourself. 'Cause
We're
you
all
wanna
pessimists.
You want to see, well, probably naturally.
Yeah.
You for more people already know.
I've heard that you
I'm
are.
a massive pessimist.
I said he was. I said he
I
was.
still am.
At heart.
Yeah.
You might.
Yeah, deep down inside.
I feel like you've improved significantly, and you know that. I say that, I reckon, every time.
Yeah.
That when the first met you, like I told you today that he often says he wants to go home.
Yeah.
Oh,
After the first two holes.
it was like first
honestly, and when it was piss and rain on Saturday and I was caught in the middle of it and we were one down with 4 to play, I'm like, yeah, this is done.
No, I've had enough.
I've had enough. I want to go home.
Actually, branching on that, you said something today that was quite interesting.
What?
You wanted to change the amount of holes
Oh,
on a
yeah.
golf course because
Yeah.
we played 15, and I don't fuck knows how you missed the bunkers. She hits it left on 15 of Rosanna, right? Just left,
Okay,
left
yeah,
of the
yeah,
bunkers,
yeah.
left of the bunkers. You hit the contact of the club was good. It just went 45 degrees left, right?
Oh, yeah.
So it was
that
heavy.
happened a lot today.
Huh?
That happened a lot
Yeah,
today.
hit it a couple of times, but we sort of both got a bit complacent at the end, and let's get inside. It's cold.
And that's what normally happens. That's why.
But it was at that sort of 14 hole mark that that I noticed, especially. You made a comment. What'd you want to change?
I think that I would enjoy golf more if it was like 15 holes maybe, because sometimes like when I play 9, it's not enough. 'Cause
Obviously.
you finish 9, you're like, oh, I want to keep going. You're just fully warmed up. But then I get to that kind of end of 15 or even 16 and I'm like, oh, I just want to go home.
Yeah,
like
pack it
I'm
up.
just done
But
with
you
this.
could do like 14 holes in your mindset as well, and it's like instead of 2 9 holes, it's 2 7s sort of thing.
You could keep it at 18, just split it up into 3 6s.
I have seen that. Like,
that's not a bad
saying
idea.
You could do
3 6s. So you could play 6, 12 or 18.
Yeah, I think 12 would be perfect.
Yeah.
You'd like 12? Why is
12 would be
that?
ideal. Now, can I ask the reason for this? Do you eat anything on the golf course?
Normally.
Okay,
I
you
normally
do.
have snacks or like something after the night.
Okay, because I noticed that I was in a similar boat and I would get to 14, 15 and I'd notice that like care factor would go out the window, scores would be shit. And then I'd be like,
Want to go home?
and then the underlying thing was, oh, I'm starving.
Yeah.
I'm starving. That's why I don't want to be here. I want to go home and eat because I'm starving. And then when I started having like a snack or a little sandwich or a chocolate bar or whatever it might be on the golf course, that's when it would sort of flip and I go, oh, okay, now I can finish out these
Yeah.
last 5
You
or
have
6
that
holes.
fuel. You have fuel.
I definitely
fuel in
learned
the
that
system.
early on. I think the first time I played 18 holes, I was starving by the end because I think we walked as well. And I was just, oh my God, how do you do this with no food?
Yeah.
Like,
It's the only
you
thing you
have
can
to.
think about sometimes as well. Like you get to 13, you're like, fuck, there is still an hour and a bit to go.
Yeah.
And I'm starving. So that's all you can think about.
Especially if it's slow. I mean, for example, on Saturday, we played, we turned, you're going to get a kick out of this. We played the front 9 in 2 hours and 45
That's
minutes.
fucking gross.
Yeah.
What
2
was
hours-
total? 450, 445?
Nah, 510.
Yuck. That is feral.
510. And we finished on 17. I didn't even play the full 18 holes. The match finished on 17 and we went home. And it was 5-10.
That's match play as well.
It was match play.
Yuck.
Yeah.
Yuck.
And it was the way the tournament was worked out, and it was wet and greens were a little bit flooded, so blokes wanted to get rulings and get the blokes from the pro shop out, and it was a hellacious 3.5 hours until sort of we got to 12, and then it opened up a little bit and we got through a few holes pretty quick. But like I can completely understand. Like at that point, that's when I was just like, fuck this. I want to go home. I've had enough. Fuck this match play. Fuck this tournament. I'm out. Get me home.
I think I used to have that mentality. I don't think I have it anymore.
Well, you don't hit as many balls. Like, do you think that
that's a big thing.
I was on my 6th shot and you'd be on your 2nd shot. So I'm using more energy.
That's actually a good point.
That's a great point.
Hats off to you. I'll shut up.
It's easy to enjoy the sport when you're fucking good at it.
No, that's actually a good point. Shit, I never even thought about that.
Yeah, because I don't think you would.
No, like I used to be like that, where it's like sometimes I'll get to 14 or 15. I'll be like,
You're just thinking
I've
about
had
how many
enough.
birdies you have versus how many you should have.
That'd be nice.
Which is often pretty close to each other.
No, well, we did have predictions today that we both missed by one. Like,
well, kind of.
what?
Remember my prediction was
Oh.
105.
It changed when
Once I went past 105, I was like, okay, well, I've at least got to beat my score from last week.
when it was like you had to make 3 hole-in-ones in the last 4 holes to shoot 105. That's when we're like, okay, next prediction or next goal essentially was that beat last week.
Yeah,
So
screw
which
that
I like.
last one.
So I did a similar thing. I didn't want to say beat 62. Like I would like to, but I'm like I want to give myself I'm not going to say a realistic goal, but it's. I'm not going to say unheard of, but it's very unlikely that I'm going to shoot back-to-back scuba numbers. Like it can happen. Yeah, it means you go scuba diving.
I know,
Like,
I
deep.
love that.
Yeah, I say it all the time, eh?
You say it a
But
lot.
I'm like, all right, give myself a realistic sort of goal. I'm playing well. I'm hitting the ball pretty good. I felt like ball striking today was pretty solid. Rolled in a couple putts. I'm like, beautiful. So I'm going to aim for 65. That's going to be my backup goal. And I ended up shooting 66, which I was happy with,
Go fuck yourself.
considering I got the man flu.
Yeah, we're
You
all a little
definitely
bit under the weather as well.
There's a couple of times where
I've
we're
been
on
at work
30.
today struggling because I don't want to be.
You should
on
have heard
14.
him though. He was just complaining so much.
I was on 14. I'm like,
Everything
oh, what a day.
hurts.
Oh, what a day.
What a day. I showed it that video. Oh, what a day.
So just before we get stuck into questions from the second cut, I want to sort of spit off a couple of quick ones, and I want you to try and answer them as quickly as you can.
Oh, fuck.
Pressure.
Here we go.
Okay.
Have you got like a tendency to, okay, in short, are you a magpie? And what I mean by that is, do you like new shiny things? Like, are you
Yes.
constantly buying
Fucking
new
same.
gear, new
Fucking
clubs?
Same.
I haven't bought a lot of new clubs, but I was telling Joel today that I bought my new putter just purely off the color because it's
What'd
like a
you get?
mint green spider.
Oh, cool.
And it's
yeah,
really
I love
nice.
It. That's a sick
But
one.
I didn't need a new putter. I just saw the color of it and I was like, I need that.
Yeah.
Apart from the black P790s, I
Okay.
think they look sick.
Yeah.
I don't like much TaylorMade stuff. That your putter's
would get-
sick.
Yeah.
I
It's-
loved
it's
it.
a
I
ve- I
noticed it on 3. I'm looking at it going, that's nice.
It is very
Like it was a
nice.
color coordination. The grip matched into it as a
Spider
cape.
GT.
It was a
Tour
no.
X or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. It was like
See, I don't
TX or
even
something.
know what it's called. Like, I don't know different putters. I
Yeah,
just know
right.
that it was mint green.
It was yours next model.
Spider GT.
Yeah, it must be.
Sure.
So it wasn't like that. It was the next one up, and I did notice it on 3. I'm looking at it going, it's TaylorMade, and I'm look. I'm going to say this now. I didn't say this today to you, but Drake says I am, but I don't think I'm biased with
Very
Titleist
biased.
and FootJoy. But I'm sponsored by him for one, which helps. But
Hence the bias.
shut up. Yeah, okay, shut up. Yeah, right. The next rival is that TaylorMade, and I don't particularly like TaylorMade equipment.
But are you allowed to like have TaylorMade clubs and things? No.
So under contract,
Is it
I
that one?
cannot even. I can hit them, but no one can see. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
no one that I signed the contract with can see. So if a rep sees it, he's like, Jolie, no.
Yeah.
Like if I hide it, I could, but I wouldn't anyway. You know what I mean?
That's it there?
Yeah.
Yes.
pretty.
Tour X. Yes. No. Yeah. It's a very nice putter. It's it's very nice.
But
I
yeah, like
loved
apart from that, I mean, obviously there's outfits and cute golf clothes and things that I have kind of purchased. But yeah, to answer your question, I do. I am a sucker for new things.
What's the one thing that's on the top of the wish list?
I
'Cause
do
we've all
want to
got
get
one.
new irons, but obviously that is a big investment.
Yep.
Um,
Have you picked out a set? Because I know you have.
no, I actually haven't.
Oh,
'cause
bullshit.
I don't know what I need. Like, I think I do need to get fitted.
When I was about to
For-
say, yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
keep going.
I think I would need to get a fitting to kind of figure out what I would need. Because at the moment, like my bag, I've got Wilson irons just from like a real beginner set that I got when I started. And then I have upgraded like my putter, my 7-wood and driver. But the irons and the hybrid
I'm
is
struggling.
all the Wilsons.
Yeah. I did notice there was a few clubs that you hit a lot better because they were suited to you more. Like that 3 would throw that out. That's no good for you. That's like, with all due respect, it's a men's club.
Yeah.
It's
So my dad
longer.
just gave me his old 3-wood.
Yeah, no,
It's
no.
longer.
I
It's
haven't
heavier.
practiced it much, but
You haven't, but like, with all due respect, based off today, get rid of
Yeah.
that because it's not
It's too long.
suited for you. It's too long for one. It might be what?
I think.
No, keep going, keep
Bro,
going.
staring at me like I got fucking something on my head.
No, you go. You're right.
Righto. But yeah,
What's wrong?
I'll get rid of that. Everything else, you seem to be able to coordinate really well. And that thing, like I've used clubs that are an inch over standard. I can't hit them to save myself because they're not even
They're
close.
not fitted to you.
They're not even close to something I'd use. So I'm chunking them, flubbing them, shanking them. Like can't hit it really.
Yeah, I think that's why I definitely would get a fitting.
Yeah.
Because I have no idea what
Yeah.
I would need.
So
That's
they
the
are- it's
perfect time to do it.
exactly. Once you build up that cash and maybe even once you've got that golf membership where you can actually put them into use like properly 2 times a week, 3 times sometimes if you do have the time. So that's probably when you'd use them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, definitely.
Are we getting stuck in?
yeah, we are.
Questions from the second cut.
What time is it? How long we got?
We got a little bit of time
All
to
right,
go.
we got 10 minutes. This is perfect. This is summed up perfectly.
Perfect. All right.
Do you
Who
want
wants
to
go
kick
first?
us off?
Do you want to kick us off? Because we
This is your
actually
first time.
This is
Okay.
the one piece of homework we asked you to do.
Yes.
And
But
we
you only asked me today.
for any future guests who might be watching, we will ask you to come up with a question from the second cut
Early.
early. We'll give you
Early.
plenty of notice.
Like I gave you some time earlier.
Yeah, but on the day.
Yeah.
Could have been a week
You
notice.
don't need 6 days to think of
I
a
mean-
fucking question.
We kind of knew you were coming on last week, and I told Joel last week when we were recording, I'm like, tell her she needs to
Yeah.
come up with
Yeah.
a question because
You came up with one fine.
No, there you go.
Yeah,
We sat in the clubhouse for half an hour odd or something like that, 20 minutes, half an hour, and you thought of one. And like, we're both sitting in the clubhouse at one point like this. Because we're like trying to think
We
of one.
were just staring at the
Just
roof.
staring at the roof like for 5 minutes, just silent. Anyway, hit us.
Okay. It is a would you rather.
Is it for both of us?
And it's for both of
Okay.
you, but it's kind of based on something that you said today to me
Oh, God.
that I think I know your answer,
You do know
but
my
I'm
answer.
not sure.
Okay.
Okay, so the question is, would you rather get a hole-in-one 5 times a year, but only when you play by yourself and there's no chance of ever getting it when playing with others, or you can get a hole-in-one once every 5 years with others watching?
that's a fuck.
The reason why she knows my answer is because of some of the explaining I did today. She asked me, "Have you had hole-in-one before?" Because we did a couple ace cams. You'll see it on the Instagram story. Anyway, and I said I've had one that I can prove, and she's like, "What? What does
do you
that mean?"
mean? Yeah.
I said I've got one. I say I have had one because it's on a scorecard. People witnessed it. Blah blah blah. But I've holed out 4 times on the same fucking hole.
Yeah, and I said
by
that
myself.
it still counts.
Is that
It's like
six
if
at
I did
Berg?
that-
I've holed out on that 4 or 5 times, but it's by myself. So no, it's not a hole. It's not because I can say I've had 5, but I haven't
But
because it's
this
not on a
question,
scorecard.
it's either 5 times a year. Like, think about that. 5 times a year.
So
or,
can I record them? Can I record every part 3 and it's recorded or no?
I don't know.
Or no witnessing at all?
It's
I think
it says
it's-
there's like no one can ever prove.
Yeah,
that you've
I
done
don't
it.
think you videoed it. I think that you're on your own.
See, this is
Just
a
a
pretty
practice
simple.
I know
simple
my answer.
Yeah.
I know my answer.
I'm going once every 5,
Yeah, okay.
I'm the same.
and if it's a guarantee that I'm going to play with 3 blokes that are
Mm.
going to see it, 100% once every 5. Because I feel like once every 5 years, if you have a 40-year
Yeah,
career
I
playing
was gonna
golf,
say that.
that's a
Still-
lot of hole in
yeah.
one.
that's
If you're
almost double
guaranteed
digits.
one hole in one every 5 years, that's a lot of hole in
Mm. I
one.
know. I was going to
yeah.
change it to 10 years, but then I thought, I don't know.
Even 10 years, I'd do it.
Yeah.
10's a limit. If
If
it
I
was
play-
if it was
if-
once in my lifetime that I could prove,
Yeah.
or like a couple times a year,
I'm nearly
I'd probably
30.
say a
I'm
couple
going to play
times,
this
but-
sport for the next 50 years of my life.
Yeah.
If your hips are
45 years, if my hip lasts that long. And even 10 years, that's another 4 hole in ones. I've already had one. I'll take another 4. Thank you very much.
just a fucking just quietly. That's a fucking perler question.
That's so good.
Like
Thanks.
I would go one every 5 because then I can prove them. Like
Yeah.
it was
think-
on a scorecard. People saw
And
it.
if you
they
have
can
one
vouch
every
for it.
year, you're just greedy.
Yeah,
I
facts.
think if you have it on your own as well, it's like it's exciting, but it's probably not as you don't get the hype, you don't get all the hugs. Like, yeah, you're kind of just like, well, I'll move on.
I think I told you about one of them when I was at Heidelberg for that year or so. I called you afterwards going, oh, yeah, hold out on 6. And you're like, yeah, cool, bro. Like,
Yeah.
All right.
I don't care. Like,
I mean,
at all.
because
Yeah.
you were there by
Like,
yourself.
I was there by myself.
And also,
Like-
that hole at Heidelberg, I reckon, has 40 hole-in-ones a year
And change.
and change.
Not quite, but
I mean,
That's once
a
a
good
week.
mate of ours, Toby Walker, I reckon, has had 9 hole-in-ones on that hole.
probably fucking has.
How
So-
far is it?
It's like
100 meters.
100 meters.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty gettable. And if the pin's down the bottom,
If the pin's down
a
the
good
bottom
ball
of the,
striker can definitely get the ball dancing around it.
it's a 3-tiered green. So if the pin's down the bottom and you're playing off the whites, it can play as short as 75 meters.
Yeah, if the
So
white's off the front, yeah. Well,
it's-
for us anyway. For
it's a
yourself,
short
will be
approach.
70 meters.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gettable. Pitch and wedge.
I'll have to play there.
Yeah, great
Absolutely.
question starting out. That was awesome. I like that.
Have you got one, Joel?
Yeah. If you had to pick a movie to describe your golf game, what would it be?
Oh.
The Titanic. It's a sinking ship.
But you don't go
I
scuba
love
diving.
that.
No,
Oh,
it's just
I
a
don't
sinking
know.
ship.
It's just
I
sinking.
need to think.
Now, give us a legit answer.
You go first. I need to
this
think
is
about
such a-
this.
I'll give you a couple seconds.
Yeah. A movie.
It doesn't have to be the plot of the movie.
Yeah, just
nor
the title.
Just the
The
title.
title.
Just the
Okay.
title.
Shit. Is there a movie called Shit?
No. Shit. Don't think so. Don't call me off guard.
They call me off guard.
Oh.
Oh, far out.
Like, is it like Scream or something, or like horror movie or some shit? Like, or is it like Ferris Bueller's Day Off? Like what?
Yeah, no, that's a tough one. I don't honestly think I could answer it.
Have I fucked you?
Yeah, I think you might have fucked me.
Oh, no, I need to think of one.
Take me
but
20 eps to get having no answer.
What could
Oh,
I
21. Fuck, I don't know.
She's googling. She's googling movies.
I don't know. Okay, I searched movies with bad titles, but it doesn't really come with.
Negative
Be
titles.
generous to yourself.
I reckon would work.
I don't know. Maybe something that's like balanced. Like I wouldn't say I'm horrible.
You're
like,
not. Oh, like I
like-
said, you impressed me today. You
Thank
did.
you.
Genuinely.
Yeah, maybe
Genuinely.
like something about being mid.
I'm trying to think. Fuck.
Movies
Like
with-
mid, like Toy Story 2. Like not as good as Toy Story. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. The title has to be
No,
a
I know what you mean.
describing.
Like, no, yeah,
Not as
but
good as Toy Story
something
1.
That's never as good as the
decent.
original.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
What
You're
about?
I've got him.
We're both googling.
I fucking got him. Yes.
You have.
Yes.
You said these would be easy.
I thought you would have had one ready to go.
How can we possibly have one ready to
I
go?
don't
It's
have
questions from the
movies.
second
Yeah.
cut.
But you know your game so well, and I'm sure
Yeah,
everyone's
but I
seen
don't
a
know
movie.
movies that well.
Yeah, you do.
What about the TV show The Middle? Does that? Is
Oh,
it
I'll pay
a
that.
TV
I'll
show?
pay that.
Okay, The Middle
pay
because
that.
it's like
Like some good, some
middle.
bad, and it's
Yeah,
just-
in
okay.
the middle.
I like that. I'll pay that.
I honestly. The impulse
That
was.
kind of worked.
Yeah, all right, done. That's it. Jackass, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's my
She was
movie.
fucking chaos.
That's chaos. Anything could happen at any point. No one knows when the fuck or how it's going to happen. I could skunk one into the bush, or I could hole it.
Or you
legit.
could just
Or I
jump the
could
LA
skunk
River.
it and hole it at the same time.
It's just no one knows what's planned.
No one knows.
I love it.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
That's a good one. I rate that as well from you.
Yeah.
All right. So I've got a couple. I'm just going to pick one. And they're kind of directed more at you, Charlie.
She was happy about that.
No, I'm nervous.
Oh,
What to you has been the hardest part of the game to learn as a newcomer?
Definitely, as in like a part of the actual game.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll say short game.
Short game?
Yeah. Well, I've never really been taught properly like how to chip.
Yeah.
Even putting, like I haven't had a putting lesson, so I'm kind of just winging it. And I think obviously I do need to spend more time practicing, but I think like you can go to the driving range, hit balls, and you can kind of figure out what you're doing wrong, or like you can watch videos on it. But I think with chipping and putting, it's just like I just have no idea
you
sometimes.
even mentioned to me today being on Sims all the time.
Yeah.
Like who practiced short game and putting on Sims?
That's the thing.
No
I
one.
think because I like my progression definitely excelled quite quickly compared to anyone else that had played for just 6 months because I was like hitting balls on the Sims every day, almost every day. And then obviously when I came out to the course, it's that short game or even long game, but hitting off like awkward lies, hitting off the rough, because on the Sims you've got the mats.
That's a good
which
point.
Is just perfect. To
Great
life.
point. Yeah.
There's a lot to be gained from The Sims, but there's also a lot that's left out of the game.
Oh, 100%. Like
Right.
that's why that sort of, like you said, you're not rushing into anything like that, or getting that membership like really helps. You can go to a chipping green and a putting green
Exactly.
and figure it out. Like even like I said, even if you shit at it, it doesn't matter. Just hit putts. You'll
Just
figure it out.
practice
It's like
it.
today,
Yeah.
even in a few hole stretch, you figured out speed and lines, and it just gets better. Imagine you hit 100 putts every third day. Bless you.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Come out.
I'm being
like,
confident.
like I said, we're all a little bit under. We've all been a bit crook in the last couple of days.
Today. Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's a good spot to leave it there, guys. Charlie, what's next for you in your content creation and your golf journey? What's the next big goal, or what have you got planned coming up? What can you share with us?
To be honest, I'm actually finding it really hard at the moment with the winter, just like having ideas and motivation to film. I think I was telling you this today.
Yeah.
I think when it's colder, it's just hard to kind of get out there and like have ideas, and you're not really having as much fun. But I do still want to focus on growing the Instagram, just thinking of more ideas, posting more, doing more like collab things like this. Like it was obviously great to be here today to, have this opportunity with you guys.
It's good fun.
So yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely looking at more like collabs and things.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. I literally just had the thought in my head. Maybe my next RDO, if you're available, we can try and get out onto Heritage
Yeah.
and do a little like 9-hole
Literally,
course vlog.
I reckon.
definitely.
I reckon not even that. 3 6 holes.
Even
3 or
just like
6
some
holes.
challenges. Like I think we should do a par 3 where like I start on the green and you start from the tee.
Yeah, but like the back corner of the green, like the furthest point
Yeah,
from
the
the flag.
Well, technically, if I do a 3 putt, which it's very common, then I get par.
Yeah, cool.
But
All
you
right,
guys have to start on the tee box.
Let's hang on. Let's do that.
Let's
do
try
a
and arrange
3-hole
a
thing
big.
where you start on the green.
Okay,
Let's try and arrange a big content filming day
we should.
with Charlie. We'll try and organise it in the next couple of weeks.
I'll get his. Yeah, we'll try and let's try and kick it out a smidge because we're in the worst part of the year, and Heritage is known to be foggy as fuck.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
And
It's
we
hard to
noticed that with
film
filming.
when it's not good lighting and
Yeah,
things.
yeah. Well, I like that.
And just for our own point, Joel, it's worth noting that we have been trying to get out there and film.
Tried.
We are still working all that sort of stuff out. So be patient. There is stuff coming. Just it'll come hopefully sooner rather than later.
Of course.
We're
We've
gonna
given
figure
it a
some
good.
stuff out.
We've given it a crack, but fuck, like
It's-
you said, time of year, and we're still trying to learn
How
as
to do
well of how to do it and
And
make
of
it
course,
entertaining.
We're not necessarily worried about the quality of the golf. We're more worried about the quality of the product.
Just the entertainment part of it, because sometimes if we're really trying to put our head down during a round, we can get a bit stale.
Yeah.
because we're not showing much character because we're trying to put our head down. But when you're not putting your head down and being all colourful and stupid, the golf's not as
yeah.
good. So
Correct.
we got to try and anyway.
Try and find a happy medium.
It's going to be
feel
hard.
that.
But yeah, I think that's a good place to leave it. Charlie, thank you so much for coming in. We really do appreciate it. Good luck with the rest of your journey. I'm sure this isn't going to be the last time we get you in here and have a chat. We'll probably have some regular updates and get you in a couple more times at least. Be sure to check out Charlie's Instagram, Charliecap.golf.
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 Yes,
we
don't
will
forget
leave
the dot.
we will leave links in our description, of course, and we'll put a story up as well. I think that'll be a good opportunity for that as well. And yeah, thanks for listening, guys. We really do appreciate it. If you've enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Spotify. Tell all your friends about it. And yeah, hit them well. We'll see you very, very soon. Cheers again.
Amazing. Thanks for having me.
No worries. Cheers.
See you.